What's up, guys? Chasing Lonely here with episode number 8 of From Grove to Glory. Um, we're having a decent season so far. If you've just joined us, things are going okay. We have drivers in the 9th and 10th positions in the championship, Russell and Kubica. We're currently sitting in 5th, just 1 point ahead of Alfa Romeo Racing, but with a comfortable gap ahead of McLaren, so we should be okay for now. And some stuff is changing, including car improvements. Let's do the intro. I'll show you what's going on, and then we'll come back and we'll get to the racing. Back in a second. So, let's look at these cars. So we've been doing some work on improving the car parts. I'll show this bit first. So we were bottom of everything when we started. I think I showed you. We're currently the 9th best car on the grid, 9th in terms of the top speed, 9th in acceleration, 9th in deceleration, 8th in low speed and high speed cornering, and apparently still 10th on the medium speed corners. But that's fine. We'll figure it out. So we've been improving the parts, and a lot of our parts are more or less maxed out. I mean, the engine's pretty much maxed out. The front wings that we had are pretty much maxed out. Gearbox is pretty much maxed out. And we're keeping on improving the reliability of stuff. As soon as these max out, we'll start maxing out the other parts, because that's kind of how racing works. All in all, though, looking good going into Vancouver. Not a lot else has changed. I've not had a look at the need to change drivers or anything. I feel like we're going to go with a 10th or above again. What's the auto pick saying? The high tyre wear could be wise, but that being said, I do want 3 more sets of ultras, just in case I need the speed, but also because there shouldn't be a circumstance under which I need to burn 9 sets of softs. Things are looking okay. The parts are looking good. Everything else is looking good. Let's get to Vancouver. Let's see what happens. I'm going to come back after practice. So, see you in a second. Okay, guys, so here we are for qualifying. And I'm feeling pretty good about this qualifying lark, I think. We've achieved good knowledge on the ultras and the soft tyres. I ignored the super soft tyres on purpose. Got the car set as purple. Beautiful. Because I think if we can, assuming we don't get into Q3, if we can one-stop this race, rubber up the track, if we can one-stop this race, we should be in with a fighting chance of picking up some places and maybe some points. Make up for what we missed out on last time in Cape Town, because it would just be nice if we made up for that, really, wouldn't it? Let's speed that up. We don't need to be messing around today. Kubica, by the way, finished 8th fastest in practice. Just a curious little note. 8th fastest in practice. Slap back down. And Kubica looking to make the pass on George Russell on the track on the flying lap. It's going to be close between these two. Obviously, our realistic goal as a team is to finish 17th and 18th in qualifying. That's kind of our base minimum. Toro Rosso do, in theory, on paper, have a worse car than us. So we will see. Lewis is out having a flyer as always. The track is pretty full. But yeah, I feel like it's going to be a decent sight to lap. 122, it's not bad. Lewis goes 121, but it's still within a second. Still within a second of Lewis, and that's actually okay, because I'm not expecting this to be a race that's that close, well, qualifying that close in terms of time. Um, it's certainly possible. There's a lot of cars, 2 Ferraris there, who are certainly capable of going faster than us. So it might just be a really close race in terms of lap times. But I guess we're going to find out is what's going to happen here. Let's fast forward through and bring ourselves back. 2 minutes left to go. I could skip an edit here, but I'm not going to. I don't know why I don't do this, because everyone else does. But I like it. I like seeing what's going on track and being able to talk about it. Something crazy happens. We are currently in that elimination zone, but we're only 0.02 of a second behind Alex Albon with George Russell. So it's not. It's only 0.2 really with Kubica. There's certainly potential here, and this track is rubbering in. I think it's going to be time. Boom. Time. Right. Onto a fresh set of boots. Really have to give this everything we've got. But I've got faith in these boys. I do have faith in these boys. Let's go 4 times speed. Just get it round. And we'll see where we end up. Now, ideally, what we want here is for Kubica and Russell to not get in each other's way. That would be ideal. They are just coming up on another car. So let's hope that doesn't cause a problem as well. I'm about to cross the line. Here we go, boys. Crossing the line for the flying laps. And we've got to hope, really hope that we pick up time through the sectors here. So let's say we end up first sector. Come on, let's put a sector time up. Any sector time will do. Any dream will do right now. First sector, Russell's 0.6. Kubica is 0.3 down. So Kubica is fastest through the first sector, and actually that's his fastest time in the first sector. Should be coming on sector 2 roundabout now. Be really nice if we could see an improvement. George Russell's at 8.94. Kubica is still improving. 0.5. 0.5 will put him in the top 15. Just a thought. About to cross the line. Where are we going to end up? Russell, I think, is staying 19th probably. Kubica up into 13th. Bobby Kubica has made his way into Q2. Well, there's a turn up for the books. He's definitely heard me talking about replacing him. He's definitely got an idea that I have thought about replacing him. Interesting. So, eliminated in Q1, Danny Kvyat, as you'd expect, George Russell, Alex Albon, Lando Norris, and Carlos Sainz. No surprises so far. No surprise eliminations. Romain Grosjean going 4th fastest in Q1, though, is possibly a bit of a surprise, but not enough that we're going to lose any sleep over it. And now we're into Q2. We've got to get 10th or above to get a sponsor bonus. And it started raining. Oh. Now I might be able to play the AI here, because there is a damp patch in here. I don't know why that won't ever stay up. From that sort of 9 minute to go mark, there is a little bit of a damp patch, or of a drier spell at least. So as long as we get some cars on track, there we go, few cars going out on inters, we might be able to pull off a sneaky upset here. And actually, I don't know if long term what I want for the race is to be qualifying in the top 10. For the obvious reasons that I would have to stay on these tyres. Okay, we've got the track starting to dry out. The key is going to be timing this just right. So, we need to wait for that to get slightly drier. Because we don't want that to interrupt our outlap. And the trouble is, there is a window there of about 3 minutes where they could get these cars in, put some dries on them, and absolutely do us. And that would be a disaster. I think we're looking at about now is the time to send him out. Fresh pair of Ultra Softs. Let's hope I've timed that right. This timing needs to be absolutely spectacular for this. There's still some good grip on the track. The track's going to rubber in a little bit, but it's touch and go. Giovinazzi and Magnussen are on outlaps on Ultras, so they could make it through. It's just a question of whether or not any of those other drivers who've already gone out trying to set times on Inters will get in time to get the fresh Ultras on. Or we could see some upsets here. Just a little upset, but an upset nonetheless. So where are we on the minimap? Let's go back to the minimap. We're not far away from that start-finish straight. We should be pushing now. See, all those guys, the top 5, are on their in-laps now. I don't think they can make that in and out in time on Ultras and get a lap that won't be ruined by rain. Whereas we've got a completely dry, gripped up track. We are going for it. Giovinazzi is currently the fastest man on track. I'm not overly upset if Bobby Kubica doesn't get close to him, as long as, you know, we're literally relying on 5 of those guys who went on Inters not going out again on dries. So we should be able to put ourselves in 3rd. It's just started raining again. Have we hit this window at exactly the right time? We may have done. We may have caught it at exactly the right time. Up into 3rd. That's magnificent. There's not really a need to go back out for a second lap time, is there? Let's play it through. We'll see how we feel as we get to the 2-minute mark. But there shouldn't be any need to go for a 3rd lap time. Or another lap time. See, that's absolutely hammering down now. That track's not going to dry out. I think that much is something we can be certain of. Plus the grip has gone. He says he's sure he can do a better lap, but frankly, I think he'd be wasting all of our time if he tried. Because even though this track is going to start to dry off, there's not going to be enough grip to come in to get through, which means we are going to see some upsets. I'm going to boldly predict now we're going to see some upsets. Lewis has decided to go out on a set of Ultras. It's very bold. Where is Lewis? Let's see if we can follow Lewis through. He's never going to make that back in time, surely. No chance he's making that back in time. I think he's going to slip right out. He's not made it. And Lewis Hamilton has gone out in Q2 along with Max Verstappen potentially. He's just about to cross the line. Let's see what happens here. Has Max made it? Max hasn't made it. The track dried out just as he was coming through. So, interesting times. We know the weather has played its part here, but Hamilton, Stroll, Gasly, Grosjean, Verstappen, we've lost both Red Bulls. This is going to be an interesting Q3, isn't it, boys? Very interesting Q3. Giovinazzi, Magnussen and Kubica. Imagine if that was the podium. There'd be absolute scenes if that was the podium at the end of the race this weekend. I can't see it happening, but absolute scenes would occur. We have to really play this clever. Really play this clever. I can't believe we lost Lewis, Lance, Gasly, Grosjean and Verstappen through to Q3. If you'd said Giovinazzi, Magnussen and Kubica were the three fastest before this happened, you'd have been looked at like you were crazy. Followed by Vettel, Bottas, Hulkenberg, Raikkonen, Leclerc, Perez and Ricciardo. And while we're going to Q3, we've made our sponsor objective. We've made our measly 10 grand. It's time to see where the grass is going to lay. What are we looking at weather-wise for this session? No weather there, that's good. We've got to go out and do a lap. I'm going to do a lap on the softs. This is obviously not for any purpose towards anything, with the exception of just laying some rubber on that track, because it has no grip because of the rain. We need it to be gripped up for that kind of 2-minute final shootout. We are the first ones out. We're kind of shouldering the responsibility for gripping the track up a little bit, but it might be for the best. Let's fire through, because this lap, we'll watch it, but it's not going to mean a whole lot. It's not even going to be terribly impressive. I mean, he will be P10 after this lap. That's an absolute fact. But Giovinazzi and Magnussen might be people we can get a lap up on. Although Giovinazzi has been qualifying really well this season. He's not massively converting it to race pace, but he's been qualifying really well. And that's troubling. We'll see. Imagine if Kubica was to get pole going out on softs. That'd be ridiculous. It's not going to happen, of course, because it would be ridiculous. But it would be a madness. I mean, that's a whole second and a bit slower than anyone would, well, than the delta time we'd be predicting. The second and a half slower than Bottas. But it's not. It wasn't about that. It was never about that. I said that from the start. Oh, we're going to start seeing some rain, so we have to go out sooner than I planned. Probably with about 5 to go. Because that is going to start getting very, very wet. Let's get those fresh tyres on. Get him on an outlap. Giovinazzi's having another go on a set of super softs. We're going for our first run of the session on ultras. We're going to see what happens. Let's zoom round and really hope that rain doesn't start before we finish our flying lap, because that would basically be a waste of tyres. We might just make it. And when I say just, I mean just make it. It will certainly be raining when he pulls into the garage. That's a fact. Will it be raining at any point on this lap? I mean, he's 0.6 down on Magnussen. That can't stay like that, you would hope. But it's got to be something happening here. 0.2 for now, sector 1. That's fine, that's respectable. 0.29 to put him in 4th. See where we come through sector 2 before we dare to dream. 0.64 would put us in, I mean 0.641 would still put us in 4th. We could be going for top 5. I wouldn't object to top 5. I wouldn't object. Oh, as the rain starts coming down towards the end, it's going to kill his lap. Absolute. Oh, we were so close, and then that murdered his lap. There's not a lot of point sending out on a set of wets right now. It's going to be 10th for Bobby Kubica. It's disappointing. I maybe sent him out 30 seconds too late. 30 seconds, but you know, it's Formula 1. That can be all the difference. 30 seconds can be all the difference we need. And we should very shortly have confirmation of our grid. In fact, this should be confirmation of our grid anyway, if we're honest. So Bottas, Vettel, Leclerc, Hülkenberg, Ricciardo, Raikkonen, Perez, Giovinazzi, Magnussen and Kubica are your top 10 for the race. It's going to make it awkward strategy wise, guys, because we'll skip through that before we get another copyright strike. It's going to make it awkward. We're really working on split strategies because we have to start on that set of ultras from Q2 with Kubica. We can use whatever tyres we like with George Russell, which means George Russell could potentially do one less stop. Potentially, he says. But let's get into the race. Let's see what strategy we can come up with. Also, before I forget, I need to save George Russell's setup because I forgot to do it. And I feel like that's going to be a thing. That I'll need next season. Okay, George Russell, 44 lap race. Maths, quick maths, 24, 20 there. Be a cheeky exploit to go do 2 softs, but you know, desperate times, desperate measures. Let's do that, and let's take 3 laps out of his tank. Bobby Kubica's got to start on those ultras. He's been locked into a set of ultras, but he doesn't. I don't understand. He's locked into a set of ultras, but he doesn't have to use the ultras because it rained. Because it rained in Q2. I understand. I was paying attention. That's fine. We're not going to push the car at all. I don't think. Is that the smartest way of doing that? I think I'd rather the performance boost than the engine expert. Just feels more necessary. I've got a sneaky suspicion we can make a race of this. So let's look at the grid. We've got Valtteri on pole. Seb Vettel still got a dodgy neck. Leclerc, Hülkenberg making up row 2. Third row is Ricciardo and Raikkonen. Fourth row, Sergio Perez and Antonio Giovinazzi. The fifth row we know is Kevin Magnussen and Bobby Kubica. There's a few tyre choices there, by the way. Some supers, some ultras. It's going to have to be interesting to see how this shakes out. Lewis is on a set of ultras on 11th. Lance has followed us onto softs in 12th. Gasly 8th with ultras. Grosjean 14th with softs. Verstappen 15th with softs. Sainz with supers in 16th. Norris soft 17th. Albon softs 18th. Russell softs 19th. And Danny Kvyat set as supers, bringing up the rear. Let's go to 5 red lights. Let's take the automatic thing off because I don't want them going into hybrid mode right off the bat. And let's follow through Bobby Kubica because he's currently our lead driver. Up into 9th, pretty good start. You'd expect K-Mags to come through, but then you'd expect those drivers on the ultras to move up the order quite fast in the early going and have to take probably 2 stops rather than 1. Whereas we know the drivers on softs can do this on a 1-stopper. So, you know, fortune favours the bold. We're up into 8th. Verstappen's up behind us. K-Mags though. K-Mags is dropping back rapidly. We're taking Hülkenberg's on a set of ultras, which is interesting. The soft couldn't possibly be the fastest tyre on this track. That would be mental. Giovinazzi has pushed his way up into 2nd. This race is already balmy. This race is completely balmy. As proven by the fact Alex Albon has just gone flying through. He was nowhere at the start of the race. He's gone absolutely flying through, which is fine, but unexpected. And now Kubica is going to try and take Albon. That's fine because we are coming through into a place where we can use ERS. Deploy the ERS, boys. Just deploy the ERS. See, everyone else has gone full hybrid mode. I don't know. I wonder what they're starting on fuel wise. If they're running in hybrid for the first lap of the race. George moved up into 17th. Struggling to overtake Magnussen, who carries on dropping back on the ultras. Just keeps falling. George's up into 14th now. Bobby has made his way up into 8th. Stays in 8th, I suppose. Raikkonen and Hulk ahead of him. He should be able to catch Raikkonen and Hulk from where he is. Giovinazzzi's dropped back as well. I mean, things are starting to kind of shake out a little bit. We are the lead car on softs, and that's impressive, I think. Probably not a popular choice, but it's the choice we made. And we're going to stick with it. We just need Bobby to get a bit closer. A little bit closer to Hulk. There's a battle going here, isn't there? There's a battle for 6th and 7th. We sort of want to stay out of it, but we kind of want to see if we can pick our spot and get involved. Go, cutting up the inside. We're taking 7th. Taking 7th by force. Elbows out. Now, can we get Danny Ricks? Danny Ricks would be a bit of a scalp. No disrespect to Hulk, obviously. But Danny Ricks would be a scalp right now. We're coming through fast as well. Really coming through. Let's give him another ERS boost. Just a touch of it, because that's all we've got. Just push through. Come on. There we go. Throw up into 6th. We can take 5th in the same corner. That would have been mad. We're taking 5th in the next corner. Oh, Bobby Kubica's on a tear. Absolutely on a tear. He's 7.5 behind Vettel. But also up into 5th after 3 laps from 10th. Having kind of the drive of his life. Give George a touch of ERS as well, why not? Let's see if he can push through, pick up any places. He doesn't really. Doesn't even really catch up. But that's fine. Bobby Kubica now. What are we expecting any weather to come? Nothing inclement, that's fine. Kubica drops back down to 5th behind Ricciardo. That's kind of what we expect, I think. Give him a little ERS push. It's all good. I mean, we are running low fuel. We're running tyres that we've got an expert level knowledge of. A race trim we've maxed out. It's okay. It could be better. It could be worse. And at the end of the day, it's still points. Let's have a fast forward, get ourselves towards that first pit stop, which is somewhere around lap 20, 24, I'd guess. Probably go to half distance if we want to. We'll come back to sort of lap 20, see where we're at. George is dropping back. It's disappointing, but it's, you know, it could be worse. I think we can do a little tiny bit of a push on the tyres. Get some temp into it, see what we can do from there. We've lost Ricciardo a little bit, but we'll keep an eye on that tyre temps, because we can kind of afford to push on them a little bit. Not a lot, but a little, enough to get the tyre temps back up at least. Kubica now trying to fight off Lewis Hamilton on a set of ultras. I never thought I'd see the day again where a Williams was fighting off a Mercedes, the Mercedes of Lewis Hamilton no less, on inferior tyres. Give Bobby a boost. I mean, Lewis is all over him, but he's not getting past. And I've said that now, so he will get past. That's guaranteed. Thought it was a danger we'd get ourselves up into 5th for a second there. We're too busy fighting Lewis, and we're going to lose time to Kimi. And that's not really what we want. It's not at all what we want. But then also we've got to kind of keep an eye on the tyres. So Hamilton's made his way past us. But I think we've held him up long enough that we'll take him in the pit cycles, which is okay. Our tyres are overheating. Just have a quick check-in, because if I've blown this again, I'm going to be heartbroken. 10 laps left. That brings us in roughly where we needed to be. Roughly. 22 was where I was looking at coming in for tyres. About half distance. So we'll see what happens here. We can't have completely blown it. Not yet. It's not possible just yet. We started seeing pit stops. Ricciardo's come in. Sainz has come in. George Russell's reporting worn tyres, but that's fine. He's also up into 12th. You know, the cars that have stopped, they've gone to a weird variety of tyres. But we should be okay. These tyres can run almost bald. Bobby Kubica's up into 4th, 3rd, because Lewis's tyres are going off and he is going to have to make a stop. We've just got to get to the right point in the race where we can cross over to a new set of tyres. Keep pushing. Like I said, I just want to make it to lap 22. Making it to lap 22 would be the ticket for us. It's going to be so close. So after the stop, there'll be 24 remaining. Ooh, what's left? I think we can cross over just about now. Just about now. Get a fast stop going. It's a bit of a risk, but we'll get a fast stop going. George Russell must be within range-ish. I don't think they're too close together for this to work either, which is the ideal. In fact, George is coming in, going to get the undercut. That I planned that all along. I planned the undercut all along. I am a genius. That's what happens. Bobby Kubica has started losing time. Leclerc and Bottas have both had him. Albon's probably fairly close. He's not within range just yet, but he'll be pushing up, you'd think. Give George the benefit of all his ERS. Bobby Kubica coming in. You'd expect him to come out somewhere near the back, but that's fine because Lance Stroll needs to pit. Albon, Grosjean and Verstappen will have to pit at some point. Plus we're only 2.1 behind. A good push here and we can actually get back involved quite comfortably. Yeah, it should be alright. It should be okay. See what we cycle through with the pit stops. Just under or just over half race distance. Should pass Stroll in the pits. We have Giovinazzi is the next one up the road. He's only 1.2 ahead. And we're going to keep chasing him as best we can. I feel like we should be able to catch Giovinazzi. We go back into the top 10. I'm also not overly like. You've been staring at the back of Kvyat's car, then push harder. I don't know what you want from me. Just get closer to him. We're up into 8th for Bobby Kubica. I feel like we've not watched George Russell at all, but he's literally, if we go back to George Russell, he's literally just toiling away at the back, desperately trying to catch Danny Kvyat and a Toro Rosso. That's his entire meaning of existence right now. And I can give him the odd boost here and there, get him within half a second, but he doesn't seem to want to pass him. He's complaining about wanting to pass him. We'll give him a little bit of an engine boost maybe. Just a little bit. We're not going to go crazy. I'm not going to start pushing tyres for too long, I don't think. Maybe we'll give him a lap and a half. A lap and a half of tyre push. But that is going to be it. Just to get that temp up and maybe give him a fighting chance of passing Danny Kvyat. But we don't want to have to make a third stop. A third stop would definitely kill George's race. Kubica, meanwhile, is just kind of holding station a little bit. Almost literally what he's doing. George Russell's overtaking Pierre Gasly. Get onto that back straight and we'll have another push of ERS. It won't do a lot, but it might just give us enough residual speed carry through to do something. Come on, George, you can do this, you can get this. Take Danny Kvyat. I believe in you. Round the outside, inside, switch back. It's close. Oh, Danny's held on. Danny's held on. Really, the opportunity was there to do it as well. It's hard to see where that extra speed is coming from, isn't it? It's just hard to see where it's coming from. I can give you little bits of boost, but there's not a lot I can do there. Let's have a look and see what the situation is. Robert Kubica. Max Verstappen's catching up. He is on faster tyres. He may also have to pit before us. I'm not certain about that. He may have to pit before us. Let's try and... Oh, George Russell's dropped a place. Disappointing. Really disappointing. Russell not finishing last is entirely contingent on when people stop, I think, at this point. Whereas Robert Kubica's got a real chance of improving his position here. Giovinazzi might have to come in for a second stop. Leclerc might not be able to get to the end on his ultras. Ricciardo's probably got to stop again. It's interesting times. And I've just realised I can now afford to let Bobby Kubica run his own race. A little bit of a push because we've got some excess fuel. Give George Russell a chance to push himself away from Hulk with some ERS. That'll be very helpful. Yeah, see if Bobby Kubica, can manage his own thing. That'll be nice, wouldn't it? Let him manage his own race. He just seems to be saving up ERS. George Russell has crashed and we've got a safety car. Say, should we sneak in a pit stop under the safety car? Oh. If we pit, it's not really worth it, is it? It's not worth it. And what we need to do really is to conserve tyres, conserve fuel. Everyone has gone to safety car Delta. I'm disappointed about George binning that, I'm not going to lie. Very disappointed, but also we're going to take advantage a little bit, like I said, and we need to be ready when that safety car comes in, because it's going to let everyone past him. But we can save some tyres, we can save some fuel. There are 9 laps left in this race, there are 12 laps left on the tyres. Everyone's going to bunch up together. Maybe, just maybe, we can get a good push. The big concern is that, like I said, everyone's going to bunch up together, which means Gasly, Sainz, Hulk, Magnussen, Kvyat and Norris, as well as Verstappen and Grosjean, who are on faster tyres than us, are going to end up ahead of us. Seb Vettel's pretty much secured the race there. He was a minute ahead anyway, but comes in for a set of fresh boots. Bottas is coming in for a set of fresh boots and hoping Leclerc doesn't get near him. It's bold. And the trouble I have is that I would come in 12th. Unless... Are there any indications that these guys are coming in? Stroll's not... Albon's not... Stroll isn't... Perez no plans to pit. That's the issue. I'll be so annoyed if Albon dives into the pit right now. Because that's kind of the issue, really. The issue is that if any of the guys behind us pit, we've wasted an opportunity. The field's not really bunching up either, which I'm fairly certain it's supposed to. I can't remember for sure, but I'm fairly certain it's supposed to. See where the safety car's at. The lights are still on. I don't know if the lights go off as it comes in. Safety car is heading to the garage. Okay, we need to get ourselves closer. We have saved a lot of fuel. We have saved a lot of tyres. And it's all for that one big push. We've got ourselves into the snake a little bit, into the train. Ricciardo you'd expect to kind of pull away from us. Giovinazzi is a target though. It's going to be interesting. For sure interesting. I'm going to get on that safety car cam so I can pause it the second he lets go for the green flag. Seb is bunching the field up. Come on, I'm going to get this. Attack, overtake, fully RS. What have we got left on the tyres? That's the big question. 11 laps. There's 8 remaining. So we've got enough to burn for maybe 2 laps. Maybe 2 laps. Just need to maintain position more than anything. Need to maintain points more than anything. Come on guys, we can do this. We can do this. I believe. Just holding in the top 10th would be perfect. Just holding anywhere in the top 10 would be absolutely ideal. Drop that back down to medium. What's left on the tyres? 6 laps, 5 remaining. We are in that kind of overheat zone, aren't we? That's fine though, because Raikkonen's tyres are about the same as ours. He's lost something off the rear wing. That's okay, it's fine. It's fine. What's this bit? Oh, it's this suspension. Okay, that's fine. We've got a car that might have to limp home, but otherwise we're fine. We just need to keep a few cars behind us and we'll be vaguely okay. It's tense. It's really tense. Sorry, I know I'm not talking very much. I'm just really, really tense. It's just, oh, so much stress. What did George do to his car while that was happening? It's distracted me. Just destroyed the whole thing. It's going to take days to repair that. That's it. That's it. Come on, Bobby. You can stay in the top 10. I believe in you. I believe in you, Bobby. I believe you can do this. It's going to be really tight. Keep an eye on the fuel because it's marginal. But also at 0.1. Come on, we can do this. We can do it. Oh, Bobby Kibitz has finished in 10th. Do you know what? That wasn't the worst finish. We started in 10th, we finished in 10th. We did put 1 point on the board. Ah, do you know what? If only I'd had enough faith in that gap behind. Like Albon finished 15th. A lot of cars jumped over us all. I could have brought him in for a set of ultras and probably got some better points. But I didn't trust it. I didn't. You know, the instinct was there, but I didn't trust it. And that's always a killer. Like the long save times. The long save times on Motorsport Manager are a killer. Just a killer. But it will be okay. Let's just get through it. Let's see what we can do. That looks all like information. Scrutineering. Do we pass scrutineering? I think we do. I know we do. We passed. Seb Vettel lost 2 places after finding a part broke the rules. It's awkward, isn't it? Win the race. Then end up 3rd on the podium. Otherwise, no big surprises. We weren't that far off. We were only 12 seconds off the pace. That's not too bad. It could be worse. The safety car probably helps make that look flattering. We've been jumped significantly by a few drivers. Kubica and Russell dropped down into 10th in the Drivers' Championship, both on 14 points. We're also now in 6th in the Constructors because of the Alpha scoring some good points. But it's only after round 7. We've got to improve this car. That's kind of the key thing here. Anyway, guys, I'm going to try and cut the episode a bit short. Until next time, if you enjoyed this video, hit the like and subscribe buttons to see more content from the channel. If you want to hear more from me about general stuff or my random musings during the F1 races, follow me on Twitter at ChasingLamely, and if you feel like being donatee, there's a Patreon which is also Chasing Lamely that you can send money at if you want. Anyway, until next time, guys, I've been Chasing Lamely. The drivers look like they've improved a bit, and all is right in the world. Have a good one, guys.